Good morning, everyone, and welcome to stream number 6 of the 90-Day Novel Writing Challenge. I'm Cody. I'm your host. I'm here all the 90 days. Aren't you so lucky? But you know enough about me. I'm going to let my lovely guests introduce themselves, and I'm going to say hey to chat. So take it away, CK.
Alrighty, I'm CK Jensen. My friends call me Rin. I hope you will also call me Rin because I hope we can be friends. Um, what am I saying?
Just what you're working on and
what?
who you are.
Yes, okay. I write science fiction and fantasy novels in the YA space for primarily queer folks. I'm not awake enough for this actually. I just realized as I'm trying to introduce myself. I am working on a new project because after the last stream, I finished Project Death. So this is a Taylor Swift inspired fantasy because your boy loves Taylor Swift, and I'm going to pull up the pitch because I wrote a really quick pitch so I could do this. Lila lives in a never-ending storm, a prison for mages like her, but dreams of seeing a clear sky. Julian is a knight of the Holy City, sworn to her gods to protect their realm from mages. When they cross paths on the Knight cohort's quest gone wrong, both quickly realize the other is not the monster they believe. Will Julian be able to defy her gods to help Lila see a clear sky, or will they both be put to death for their subterfuge?
I love that they're both not the monster they believe each other to be. I love that. That's
I heard
fun.
put to death. Put me in.
Right.
Thank you. I didn't answer they them for anyone who cares.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right, Alyssa.
Hi, I'm Melissa. I haven't streamed in like months. I don't think so. It's been a minute, but I am working on draft 1 of a romantasy. I'm like 45,000 words in Act 2, Part 2, and it's about like a decoy princess who has like been born to be kidnapped, and then one of the men who is kidnapping her, but he doesn't want to. He's doing it against his will.
Oh, darn! I had to kidnap this beautiful woman.
That's what my book's about.
Oh, so I'm obsessed with this book is a fantasy and it's still about kidnapping.
Well, duh.
I mean,
It's your brand and I love it.
exactly.
Yes.
And
Well, hey,
Meredith.
I'm Meredith. I write Regency romance. I'm currently trying to sell a book, and I have an agent, and that's happening. And I'm writing a new book, and it's also a Regency romance, but it's not taking place in the ballrooms of London this time. It's taking place in the countryside. We've got a main character who is a vicar, and his love interest is a former mistress. So that's been really fun. And I don't have a pitch. Well, I do, but it's hidden in a document somewhere, and I'm not going to pull that out. But there's like a save the village element, and it's been really fun. I'm almost done. The goal is to finish the draft this weekend, and yeah, hopefully we'll write the end in a couple days.
That is so exciting. So fun. I played a vicar once in an opera.
Ooh,
In fact.
an opera.
It was what was the name of that show? It was by I think it was by Benjamin Britten. Hold on. I gotta look it up. But it was like La Finta Giardiniera.
Oh yeah, La Finta Giardiniera. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I've seen that at least twice now.
Well, that was the Italian one, but there was one. It was like Albert Herring.
Are these newer or like old?
Oh, that was right. Yeah, Albert Herring, opera by Benjamin Britten. It is from how old is this opera? 1946.
Okay.
Cody, I didn't even know you sang opera. This is like a lore drop for me.
I went to school for vocal education, like vocal music education, and so like I did a lot of like choir and operas and.
That's so sick. I didn't even know that.
It's I don't do operas really anymore. I mostly just do musical theater because.
No, now you're gonna perform Nessun Dorma for us. Go.
But yeah, Albert Herring was the one where I played the vicar, and he was just a hoot. He was clueless as heck, didn't know what was going on.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah. But anyways, and my project is Project Purple, which for those of you that are joining the stream for the first time, in my mind, it is like found family, disappearing islands with a set of deadly trials inspired by The Witch's Road from Agatha All Along. So Yeah, it's kind of, I guess, similar to like Meredith. It's like a save the village because the other islands in this cluster have disappeared, and now the island that the story starts on is now the last standing island. They're one, don't know where the islands are going, and now they have heard of these monsters that are basically like ravaging villages and wiping out entire populations on islands. And we think that these monsters are headed our way. And so either we go through these deadly trials to try to get to the king to seek help, or we just sit around, wait around, and die anyways. So that is the choice that my characters are about to be facing here soon in a fun little bar scene. So we love to see it. But with that, I would like to just do a little icebreaker. And I want you to tell me what your favorite spooky season tradition is. It can be a food. It can be a candle, Meredith. Right? Is she lit? She's lit.
Lit. My room smells like spiced pumpkin.
Amen.
And it's the best. This is the best candle on the planet.
But it's not kitchen spice. Totally different.
It according to Yankee Candle, it is spiced pumpkin.
Yes.
It does smell like pumpkin and it smells like spices, and it's the best. And my personal rule is I can only burn it in October and November.
Yeah.
It's not right any other time. So
it's not right. The vibe's not right for it.
Yankee Candle's gonna come for me.
Yeah, they will. They'll find you and be
Imagine
like,
burning it in like July, it would just be wrong.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
Totally.
Doesn't work like that.
Gross.
Well, that was Meredith's answer. We knew that. Do you have any other like fall traditions other than just the candle? Like, do you go anywhere? Do you see a specific movie?
No.
Love that.
I'm so sorry. It's still 85 degrees here. It doesn't feel like fall. This is my one like clinging to the season.
Amen.
And then I will buy like discounted Halloween candy on November 1st.
It's a good tradition.
That is the way to do it.
That's the best. Candy and the candle.
Amen. Amen. So, hi, Katie. Welcome in. We have so many friends joining. Okay, Alyssa, what is your fave tradition for spooky season?
I don't know. I feel like I don't really do like a ton for Halloween, mostly because I'm a nerd and I'm just usually waiting for what the artist formerly known as NaNoWriMo to start. and so I would always be like outlining a book. Like I think I spent every October the last like 8 years outlining a book. So that feels very fall to me. But I also, I love to go get a little pumpkin beverage. I love to live my little like basic fall white girl life and like get a little pumpkin drink and walk in the leaves. But I feel like that's not very original.
But all those things, like, I feel like fall very much has like a, if I like we're seeking out all these cozy things, and so whatever cozy vibe we feel like doing, we just go do it.
Yeah.
If that's a pumpkin spice latte and a walk through Ross and TJ Maxx and Marshalls, like we live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I don't really do like horror movies. I actually am such a wimp. Like I cannot be in the same building as a horror movie or I have a crisis. So I always watch like sitcom episodes of Halloween on Halloween. Like that's what my Halloween is.
Amen.
I love that for you. I also cannot be in the same room or the building as a horror movie. Not for me. So my tradition is always just rewatching Over the Garden Wall. And I'm mad because this year they took off HBO Max and it's on Hulu. And I don't have Hulu. So I don't know what I'm going to do. But it's my one tradition. And it's been ruined this year because of the corporations.
Always.
I'm sure it'll be somewhere because somebody downloaded it and it's bootleg on the
You're
internet.
right. I might have to yo-ho-ho it, as they say.
Listen, do what you got to do. The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. That's a classic.
Oh yeah, sounds good.
Classic. We love to see it. And so for me, I mean, I love the Halloween Town movies. So I usually at some point in October, I make it a point to watch the Halloween Town series, Hocus Pocus, and I feel like those are like the two main like Halloween movies that I like seek out obviously if like there's a new one that comes out or I see something like randomly like in the little Halloween category that looks interesting, then I'll click it. But I'm quite the opposite of Alyssa NCK. I love scary stuff. That is like, it's always been a fave of mine. That was like our tradition as a family. Every Friday, we would go to the Red Box and we would get us a DVD, rent us a little scary movie, and watch it as a family. Like that's what we did together. But you know, what does that say? Maybe that's what led us here. That's what led me to this path of reckless creativity. But anyways, okay. Well, we still have like 11 minutes before our first stream. Does anyone have any questions? Does anyone have a topic on the top of their head that they just want to throw out there and we bounce off of it?
I have a question, but specifically for Meredith, because I don't know like anything about Regency romance, and you were talking about your project earlier. I think I've read like one Regency book ever, and it was not a romance. It was the the Benevolent Society of Ill-Mannered Ladies, which was fantastic, and I loved it. Highly recommend. But like you were like, oh, it's not in the London ballrooms; it's in the countryside. And I was wondering, is there like an American equivalent of Regency romance? Like, is Regency ever in America? Because like America was established in the Regency era, like it was brand new. So that's just a very specific question.
If historical romance can be anything, it can
Right.
be ancient China, it can be revolutionary America, wherever. Regency romance is specifically England in
okay. In the
early
Regency era.
1800s generally, because that's when it was the Regency period. So if you're saying Regency romance, that is specific to England. But there's a ton of other, Beverly Jenkins,
right,
really popular American author who writes American-based, historical romances. So there's plenty for everyone out there.
Yeah, that's about. I was just curious because I was like, you were like, oh, it's in the countryside, like, and my brain had immediately gone like, oh, it's not in London, it's in America. So I was just,
yeah, a lot of
a funny little question.
Take place in London with like lords and ladies, and there's ball gowns, and it's very fancy, and I love that. Okay, I do love that, but I had this idea for a different kind of one with like working class characters.
Yeah, I love that. That's gonna be so good.
Yeah. You're
gonna be my breakthrough into Regency romance, I feel like.
Yes. It's so fun.
So you must feel like an expert on this time period, because I feel like you've written at least a few books in that time period. So is that all the books you've written in that time period?
I've written officially, I guess 3. This will be the 4th.
Okay.
And so I love learning about the time period. There's so much happening in England, but also around the world. And of course, England is involved in everybody's business. And so there's just there's a ton of big wars and conflicts and all that kind of stuff. But then there's a lot going on, on a social level with class stuff happening, where there's a rise of the middle class going on, and all of the fancy aristocrats are freaking out because they think everyone's going to take away their power and everything. So there's a lot of internal conflict within the country as well. And it's just, there's so much story fodder. When you start reading some of these history books, you're like, oh my gosh. So it's really fun. I enjoy it a lot.
I love that. That's so fun.
That's so fun.
And just also getting to sort of just sink into a time period and just I don't know. I imagine you closing your eyes and speaking like a lady, at a ball, and trying to figure out dialogue, and I love it.
Yeah.
It's so fun. Because for dialogue, how do you, I guess, know the appropriate dialogue? Do you just watch movies from that time period, that are based in that time period, I should say?
It kind of is a mix, and you'll find different authors do it different ways. Some authors who are writing historical, they just use modern dialogue completely, and that's just their style. Others try to make it sound a little more like Jane Austen kind of esque or whatever. I try to be somewhere in the middle. Most readers aren't going to sit down and read Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. It's written in the 1800s, and it is you have to take your time when you're reading that. And most modern readers are not going to do that.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a mix. I feel like I've watched a ton of old movies, And even though that they're not made in the 1800s, of course, some of them are, but not all, most of them. But you know, people had an older way of speaking, a more slightly formal way of speaking. So I kind of have a little bit of that in there. And then I've read a lot of historical romance, and so there's just sort of a manner and like a vibe to them that I've incorporated over the years. So it's very accessible. I feel like the vast majority of historical romance being written today is easily readable. It's not written like a textbook. It's not written like Victor Hugo, you know. And so it's easy to read and it's just fun. There's like a historical flair to it, if you will.
I love that. I love that.
That's so fun.
Okay, we have a few questions in chat, so I think we can answer just one of them, but I did star the rest of them, so we'll answer them in the next little chatty portion. But the first one is any advice approaching the ending of your book in the first draft? So for me personally, the ending is the first thing I know, usually. Because I, for whatever reason, struggle to find the correct starting point and making my way to the ending. I find that I personally am more successful starting at the ending and working backwards to find my beginning. So that is, I mean, usually that's how I approach the ending of my book. Any thoughts from any of you?
Yeah, I found that my act threes, which is like in my structure, the end of the book, last act of the book, I tend to write very quickly because I know that it's usually what changes the most in edits. And so, like, especially if it's kind of like a crappier first draft where I'm kind of finding the pieces as I go, I usually by the point I'm getting to the ending, I'm like, okay, I already know that I'm making changes to the beginning and the middle. And so I, at this point, really just need to get to the end and establish like, here's everything that, like, here's where we leave off all the characters. And I'm not as worried about like line stuff and even scenes being super intact. Because usually, I mean, I think this book might be different actually, because I actually know what's happening in it. And I don't think there's going to be like as major of a dev edit. I mean, there will be, as we all know. But like as of right now, I don't see as many problems. But if you're just trying to get through the first book or like an early book and you're like, I just need to get to the end, just get to the end. Get all the characters to their endings. And because it's going to change later. This is not, I don't know. This doing this has also come back to bite me though, so I don't know if I really recommend it though. Yeah.
That's so real. I feel like I'm kind of a mix in between Alyssa and Cody. Like, I often know it's kind of different for every project, but often I know what the end of the book, what I want it to be. And I do a lot of that working backwards to find the cause and effect, like what led to it. But if you're talking about like the actual process of getting to the end of the book and writing the end of the book, that like final act, whether you're using a 3-act, a 4-act, a 7-act, whatever structure you're using, I find it can be really hard to like get into that act and like get past the mental block. Because like I had this a lot with Project Death, which I finished just the other week, where I was like, I'm not emotionally prepared to stop writing this book. So some things I like did to combat that was like reminding myself, oh, I can like come back to this, and this is like not the end of the project, because I was just so in love with those characters and all the themes I was exploring and everything. So I feel like as you approach the ending, remember that like this is an ending, but it is also a beginning in many, many ways. Yeah, if you want to talk about more about this, I have way more thoughts. I just can't crystallize them all right now. But feel free to reach out on social media. I'm happy to talk.
Love that. Meredith, any tips? I know you love an ending.
You do not want ending tips from me. I promise. I rewrote the last quarter of my last book 4 times because I could not figure out how to wrap it up, and because I'd written myself into the corner. The stakes, the conflict, high, really compelling, amazing. How do you solve it? I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know, you guys.
Oh, this is such a problem for me also. Actually.
So it took forever, and it really took like input from writing friends, input from my mentor, and like It was. It
I
was
was
a
there
lot
for those chronicles. If you
of
rewriting the ending over and over, I was there for
fun.
that.
And I did, like, I will say the original ending to the book did work. It did make sense, but there was a problem earlier in the book that it ended up being super cliche. And I was like,
Mhm.
dang. And so I had to change that element. And because I changed that element, I couldn't keep the original ending. It didn't
Mhm.
mesh anymore. And so
Mhm.
that's where the rewriting cycle, ugh. So this time around, when I was outlining my current project, I was like, we are getting the freaking ending correct. At least most of it. Come on.
Yeah.
So I think the ending for this new project is pretty solid. You can come back in 4 months when I'm struggling through draft 2 to figure it out, and I've scrapped the whole thing and be like, well, let's look at her.
Like, what was
But
Leslie thinking?
I was like, I'm not starting a draft before I know how this stupid book is supposed to end.
Mhm.
That's funny, and you're so very welcome. We're so glad that we could offer our our very expert opinions on writing the ending of a book. But with that said, friends, the time has come for you to lip sync for your life.
I'm
So
ready.
good
Let's
luck,
go.
and yeah, happy writing. We'll see you in 40 minutes. All right, friends. That is the end of our first 40. How did we do?
You know, that went. I think I got just over 700 words, and I'm not mad about it, but I also got really distracted, and that's fine.
Happens to the best of us, truly. Alyssa, how'd it go for you?
Good. I am sorry. I feel like I'm coming out of a vortex every time I do a 40-minute sprint. Like I just but I wrote like a really kind of crappy 1,800 word scene yesterday. I don't actually think it was crappy, but it like the words were crappy, but like the scene was good. So now today I am making the words actually good. So that's what I've been doing. I added about 100 words, I guess, but I was just kind of deleting and reforming sentences and doing all that. And then I ended up coming across this character who didn't make any sense, and so then I needed to figure out like, what are you doing? And I did. It actually, I don't know. I think she was meant to be that. Like, I feel like every character I come across in this book is like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. Sure, that's where we're going now. Great, love it. So I don't know. That's good.
I love. Meredith, how'd it go?
It went pretty good. I finished the scene I was working on, 856 words, and someone's real upset that they're in love with someone.
Oh,
She's like, oh no.
oh no, I'm in love with someone, or someone else is in love with someone.
Yeah.
I love that. Personally, I did not add a lot of words. I finished the small little scene that I was on. It was like a little intimate moment between Asher and Luca. And the very next scene is the bar scene. And so I was like, crap, I have to actually introduce all these characters. So I had to give them names. And so that's what I did during this. And it's kind of fun how I'm letting their names almost depict. I wanted to know their names because I feel like the name creates the picture of the person. You know, that's like the very first thing that creates it before you yourself set it up in the book. But I don't know why, but I randomly named my commander Pike, like Commander Pike. It felt right. So I just did it. But I didn't realize that a pike is a type of fish, and it's actually quite a lethal fish, like an aggressive fish, which makes sense because he's the commander like of this troop. But he has 3 sons who look intimidating, but in my mind are like the 3 Stooges, like they're absolutely worthless. And so all 3 of them, because when I found out Pike was a fish, I was like, well, I need to like name the 3 sons after fish that look intimidating but are actually harmless. So their names are Trigger, Barrel, and Blob.
Blob is crazy.
Stop. I love it.
All of those are like the trigger fish, the barrel fish, and the blob fish look terrifying, but they're actually harmless. Like they won't hurt you.
I'm obsessed with this man naming his children after fish.
Yeah. I mean, but it makes sense because we're on islands, like they're surrounded by sea. So it just like it played into it by accident.
It's thematic. I love it.
After an aggressive fish. It just worked out really well. And then my little husband and wife, bar owner and bar singer, Marvin and Melanie. Melody is their last name. Okay. So Marvin and Melody. Like, I mean, hello.
Cody, I'm obsessed with all your names. These are so perfect.
Fantastical and like words that we would recognize.
No, you got it. Like I think about Thunk every day.
Listen, and Jinx because she's clumsy, and I love her. By the way, I love Jinx. Yes. But that is what I did during the 40-minute sprint. I named characters and finished this little moment between Asher and Luca. So, really quick, would any of us be open to sharing a line?
I'm so ready.
And if you want to take a minute to look, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a moment to look through, find the line that we want. I'm going to catch up on chat, and then we'll get to popping. So you have a moment. But I do need to catch up on the chat. We had some friends here. I started this because you're banging your head against the wall on this project. For some reason, decided to do a dual timeline where the modern timeline progresses linearly and the childhood timeline progresses backwards. I have a question. Have you ever seen the movie The Last 5 Years?
Classic.
Because
so good.
That is a great example of a storyline that starts like the husband and wife both start at opposite ends of the timeline in their like relationship. They meet in the middle and then they go away from each other. And so it's a very interesting watch, very interesting timeline. I like way to do a story with a timeline. So highly recommend checking that out.
I also can, if I can put a little bit of advice in this for this one, because I saw this one too, and I was, ooh, you don't have to draft the story in story order. You can draft non-linearly. Like you can draft, like if it's hard for you to write the childhood backwards, start at the beginning with childhood and then chop it up and put it in the order you want it. That's what I would do personally.
I see. You can write both stories linearly and then just kind of flip one.
Intersperse them. Yeah, that's what I would definitely do.
Yeah. And then you can clean up like how they meet in the middle, like later on.
Exactly.
That's most likely not going to happen in the first draft, but hey, maybe it will. You never know. Let's see. Oh, Becca is lurking. Hi, Becca. Finally sprinting this morning. We love to see it. Yeah, we do in fact, unfortunately, have to write. So that is literally why we're here. Let's see. Sierra was able to join. Hello, Sierra. Hello. Does this know how to work? There we go. Hello, Sierra. So glad you are here with us. Let's see. Didn't get any writing done, but I did most of your yard work. Oh, we love to see it. Productivity. Anna finished Act 1 several days ago and then took a break, so I just did some rereading. Love that. Hello. Welcome in. Jade got 820 words. That's a slay. And then Belle got 880 words, and you hit the 8,000 word total in your project. Congratulations. That is so exciting. So happy that you did that here with us on stream. Okay, I'm trying to catch up. Ooh, came up with a new plot point and did some genre research. We love to see it. Came in for the last 5 minutes and managed to fill in one scene into my reverse outline. Hey, that's progress. That is progress. Got about 300 words that sprint, but 1682 so far today. Free range female, you are killing it. Absolutely slaying the day. Got an even 1075, y'all. When you are drafting a new book, how do you know when to start breaking up your messy docs into mini, or do y'all just start a project organized? See, listen, with my first draft, we just sit down, we go all the way from beginning to end. Whatever happens, happens, and we'll worry about that later. That's a problem for future Cody. But I mean, I do also, I made an outline and all that stuff. So, I mean, I feel like I was organized, even though I'm still coming up with a lot of stuff on the fly, like character names. That's fine. Okay, cool. Yeah, definitely give it a watch, and maybe it'll help you crack your how to do your timeline situation.
I could do a performance of it right now if you want. I could do
okay,
the whole thing.
Absolutely.
If yeah, just like had a quick 45.
Are you gonna play both parts?
Yeah.
One woman show. All right.
I can do it.
Well, everyone, Alyssa is going to perform for us. Locked in on the screen and ready to give us all a show.
Okay, we'll do it now.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. Okay, so do we have lines?
I've got lines.
Start with CK, work our way around in a circle.
Yeah, instead of reading the 121 words I want to read, I'm going to give you a little bit of context and then read like only 75 of them.
Amen.
Okay, so they are going from the Holy City to the Everstorm, or whatever I'm calling it, the Great Storm, the Eternal Storm, something.
Mm-hmm.
And in the middle, there's like this marsh, and they're walking along this boardwalk that has been there for who knows how long, and it's like creaky and molding and just like falling apart. The main character, Julian, is like, is this thing meant to hold 12 nights at once? And her captain says, it's old, but it'll hold. It always has, always will. Besides, even a creaky old boardwalk is better than wading through that. He gestures to the water and weeds below. Julian couldn't tell how deep it was, but in her imagination, she could feel those stringy plants wrapping around her and dragging her down into the depths of the marsh. She'd sink into the mud, be lost forever, and no one would ever find her body.
Woof.
Obsessed.
Love.
I learned in that paragraph that she's an anxious B-word. And I'm so here for it. This is gonna make it so much fun. She's gonna get tortured the whole book. I love her.
I love her.
Character.
Okay, I'm gonna give you no context because it would spoil pretty much the whole book. So it's just a little sentence. If Dahlia felt like adding to her list of injuries, she could have bitten off the woman's nose, perhaps later. That's all you got.
Love.
Okay, bite the woman's nose off. We love a woman in STEM.
But it's
So real. I support women's rights, but also women's wrongs.
Exactly. Meredith.
All right. It's a first draft, so don't be mean to me.
Hey, we're
drafting, babe. You got it.
right now, so you're not alone.
All right. If Celia paraded Lord Ravensworth and Henry Clark through a London ballroom, she had no doubt the young woman would swoon over the Earl before giving Henry a second look. But Celia was completely enamored with Henry. He's kind and generous. Henry would do absolutely anything for me. He brings a calm to my chaos. My mind settles when he's near. He's the family I've always wanted. A nausea-inducing assessment, Lord Ravensworth muttered.
Oh.
I love that. I also love
Right.
this.
This is a first draft. Be nice to me, and then it's great. Okay. Okay. Whatever, Meredith. You're fired. I'm just kidding. But that was great. That was wonderful. I love that. And I guess I made you guys share, so I have to share as well.
Yes.
So I'm gonna share the end of this little moment between Asher and Luca before it gets absolutely ruined by the thing that happens next. So no spoilers. But so basically, right now, Asher has just exposed to the commander like his experiments that he's been doing, like trying to figure out how to keep the Razor Fangs at bay so that they can he was trying to just think of himself so he can like get off this island and like get away from here and like try to get home, whatever. But Asher, whenever they realize all the islands are disappearing, exposes this to the commander without Luca saying it was okay. And so they were in the middle of a fight. And Luca is very much, his false belief is that like he's failed his experience many, many times. He believes himself to be a failure, even though he is not. So it's a cute little moment between them. Okay. So this starts with Asher talking. You've never failed us, Luca. And then Luca, yeah, okay. I come home every day with another failed experiment. I've been working on this every day for the better part of 6 years. And what do I have to show for it? Well, when you put it like that, he stops, cracking a smile, and I fight the urge to punch him in the face. He throws his hands up in surrender. I'm kidding, Luca. Come here. Sit down. He pats the empty spot next to him on the bed, and I reluctantly take it. Where you see countless failures, I see countless times where you've been knocked down and chose to get back up again, tirelessly scribbling in your notebook in the pursuit to give those you love a better life. Sure, the results haven't been great, but you kept going, and for all we know, you may have found the answer, but you are too stuck in your head to see how far you've come, how much closer you've gotten to cracking this thing. He stops, placing his hand on my thigh, and my body warms under his gentle touch. I lift my head, shifting my gaze to meet his. Doesn't sound like a failure to me. I swoon!
This is book one, and you're gonna drag it out to.
You gonna slow burn them?
Yeah, I'm slow burning them, girl.
Joking. You're lying to me right now. You're not slow burning that. What do you mean?
Kiss.
Right. Well, they're like, it's like one of those moments where like they're like about to like lean in and do a little bit, but then there's a knock at the door. They've just been summoned to this meeting called by the commander, where he's gonna be like, okay, this is what we're about to do. So that's what we're about to get into. And they're about to be voluntold basically to go on this voyage to these deadly trials that they did not sign up for. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's either go to the trials and try to save the island or wait around and die anyways. So that's kind of like a big, I guess, reoccurring thing. Like if death is behind you and in front of you, like what choices will you make? Like which option would you take? Like kind of vibe, you know? Like almost like, because death is this thing that like no one obviously can control, and it's kind of, I guess, grappling with that, and also still wanting to, even in your very last moments, to have choice in not only how you lived your life but how you end it, you know. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of like a thing that's just coming up in this draft. I didn't plan on that happening, but it's what's coming up. So yeah. Hello. Okay, nice timer. That was our, I guess, rest timer. Okay. But I mean, we still have like a few minutes, just a few. But okay, we had another question up here. I pinned some questions, so we'll answer through. Let's see. We already answered that one. Okay, this is a fun one. How do you know when you're ready to move from outlining to draft one? Now, I have an answer that's not an answer, but in my opinion, and this, yes, I did steal this from a really like, dramatic Instagram picture somewhere, but it was readiness is not a feeling, it's a decision. And so it's like you're never going to be fully ready to jump in. And you may be ready, you just might not feel ready. But it is just a choice. Like when you feel comfortable enough, when you feel like you know enough about the story that you're able to make it from beginning to end, that I guess is when you're ready. But do you guys have any other thoughts on that?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, someone else was about to talk. You go first because I'm not crystallized yet.
Okay. I mean, I'm a hardcore outliner. So I move from outlining to drafting when the outline is as complete as I can possibly make it. Every single scene is outlined. I know exactly what's going to happen in every single one. I don't have any questions about names. I don't have any questions about how's this going to work out exactly. No, it's all figured out. So when it's done, then I'm actually ready to draft. And that works for me. That's just not, I know some people have looser outlines that they don't outline at all. And it's just, you have to, it's practice and it's knowing your own process and how you work best as a writer. And that just takes time, annoyingly enough. So yeah, but for me, it's that outline had better be like super solid with no questions, no lingering little connection pieces that are not there.
Yeah.
That is so incredibly valid. I am not that. This is all the outlining I did for my current project is one page of like key scenes. It's like, you could like look at this. You can't read that. So I will say, if you're more on the like discovery writer outlining side of things, go for it when the vibes are right. Like I'm not a fan of Stephen King, but Stephen King said outlining the story takes the fun out of it for me or something like that. Like I can't tell the story twice, and I'm much more in that camp than I need to have a solid outline. So it's like I have like this list of key scenes, and this is more of an outline than I do for most of my books. I'm not gonna lie. So I go for it when the vibes are right, and when I'm like when I feel like I need to actually write words to learn more about the story, because I'll talk about this more in the like next question that I saw you highlighted. Mm-hmm. There was a question about like the drafting before you move to queries. That one, I was going to say I do 3 drafts and then a bunch of like little smaller drafts. So I do 3 major drafts, and the second draft is always a complete rewrite of the book, like from scratch, which gets a really great dev edit in. But like, it's because I do so much discovery writing in the first draft that I feel like I need to rewrite the second draft, and it polishes the draft so much, but it is also so much work.
I love that. So. I'm somewhere in between the two of you. Like I know a lot about the story, but like the nitty gritty fine details, I just kind of let those organically come up as I'm going through the list of scenes. Like I know the events that move our characters through the plot. And it's just those little moments in between that I'm just kind of like letting them naturally happen based on what the characters are feeling in that moment, whatever they speak to me in that moment. So that's kind of my vibe. Is I have like a bunch of miniature goalposts that get me to the end of the story, and I'm just vibing my way through each of them,
Mm-hmm. I feel similarly, but I found with this book specifically, I feel like my process is really like finding maybe not its final form, but its like best form, where I have a very like I know what happens in the book before I go into it, but I don't know how it happens. And I end up doing a lot of outlining as I go. Like I have a big picture, like one to two pager that's like an outline of everything that happens, but I usually have a document. It's in my Scrivener. It's called Next Up on Glee. And it is
love
like
that.
the next 5 to 10 chapters. Like, here's like what's happening in the next chapters to get us there. And then I go even more micro than that. Then I'm like in the scene. At the bottom of every chapter I write, there's like 3 bullet points. That's like, okay, we go to this person's house. We talk about that. So I'm outlining as I go, and it goes from like macro to micro. Some scenes I write without like doing, like I already kind of know what happens in them, but a lot of them I'm like, okay, the first thing I need to do is figure out what happens. And I think I've always kind of done that, but now I'm just like leaning into it. And I also have like a Notion page specifically for the fantasy, because there's a lot of like, and I have a table for like all of the magic stuff, and I have a table for all of the like for book 1 and for book 2 and for all the plot, and I like fill it in as I go, so I know I will have an accurate outline at the end that actually reflects the book, rather than like an outline that doesn't actually match what happens in the book. So yeah, it's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I found that with fantasy, my outlining. I'm doing things. There we go. Well, I found that with my fantasy, my outlining in the beginning, I was trying to do very much what I did with like my thrillers, where it was very like event-based, linear, like literally like paragraph after paragraph. Each chunk of text is like a new chapter. And I just did that until I made it all the way from beginning of the story to the end of the story. But since my beginning has changed quite a many time, I was pulling a Meredith with the endings. I'm not kidding. I wrote this first chapter, or tried to write it, probably like 4 times. And that was before I had completely revised my outline like 4 different times. So it's been through a lot of changes. And I find that in the current process of what I'm drafting right now, a lot of what I have are like resources and not really an outline. Like I know, like I have an act 1 like scene map where I know like I want to include these major moments because they set up something that happens later in the story. And then for act 2, I literally have like a map / like detailed explanation of each trial. And I know who dies in each trial. But the rest of it is just, I'm writing the action as I know like what's going to happen, like how what lethal thing is going to try to kill them. But, and just kind of letting the moments vibe. And then the end is basically just one big final trial. So that's a time, but I'm super excited. And it's just so fun to see all of our different processes, because we're all so different. We're on the spectrum of, and I feel like outlining, plotter, pantser is a spectrum. Like there's
absolutely
full, I feel like absolute one way or the other. We're all kind of a combination of both sides. And so it's just
Except
really
for Meredith.
Except for Meredith.
1000% planner.
Now, I used to be a complete, like the first book I ever wrote, I pantsed the whole thing. I had notes like yours where it was like, I wrote down 2 things and I was like, I'm ready to draft. I just didn't, I had no idea what I was doing. But for me, like that is super fun. I'll write 100,000 word book in 6 weeks. Like go for it.
Okay.
But the resulting disaster is so, because you were saying like you rewrite from scratch for draft 2, which is exactly what I ended up doing. But for me, that was so depressing to like literally throw out all of that work and like start over. I was just like, oh my gosh. And so after that, I was like, I've got to have something else to start, or I'm going to have to rewrite the whole dang thing. And that was too overwhelming for me. And so I've slowly made my way into, I'm going to have this outline that tells me every single time they breathe before I start writing.
Well, you're also in trad pub, which makes a lot of sense. I'm trying to lean more into a like that kind of thing, because I want to go trad pub. Like I'm querying right now, and I'm like, I need to be able to write a synopsis. So once I like get a little sense of my voice, because I have a really hard time finding projects with voice before I do any drafting. Once I have the voice, I'll write a synopsis, and then like, because I know you need a synopsis for trad pub. So that's the skill I'm working on developing right now.
Yeah, those are from the devil.
I fully agree. Yep.
They're awful.
But but also I found that my process has been different with every book. Like Ghostwriters Club, I did plan it, but I did end up having to rewrite it because I wrote 40,000 of it in the wrong POV, but that's fine. We don't talk about it anymore. That's behind us. But Project Terms and Conditions, I feel like I was more like Meredith, where I was like, I know every moment of this story, and like maybe that's why I was able to actually complete NaNoWriMo for the first time. But that one was like detailed. But this one, and just kind of, it's like I feel like I've been given a like confidential file full of like maps and things about trials, and I'm just like building a story from all these fun little pieces, and it's interesting. I've never written a book like that, but it's how we're doing it this time, so we'll see what happens. But we've yapped enough, so much so that I even adjusted the clock to 35 minutes.
Oops.
But that's fine, because I love hearing about all of our processes and all that fun stuff. So with that said, 35 minutes are on the clock, friends. Best of luck to all of you. Happy writing, and we'll see you in 35. All right. That was the end of the second sprint. How did we do, friends?
I mean, I finished the chapter, but at what cost?
At what cost?
Yeah. It feels like this should be a Dark Night of the Soul, but we still have more to go, more terror to go. So I don't really quite know what to do with that. But it was very depressing. And my music cue was really going. She was putting in Birdie. She was putting in Hosier. She was putting in Christina Perry from 2011. Like we were going through it. But
Not
anyway,
Christina Perry 2011. That's a deep cut right there.
So funny.
Yeah. How about you guys?
I did okay. I got 721 words. I was struggling a bit with a certain aspect of the scene, but that's fine.
So valid. I switched projects. I'm working on Dauntless now because I've been avoiding rewriting chapter 1 with my latest feedback for probably 2 or 3 months now, and I really do need to get back to the query trenches, so I gotta do this revision and get more queries in.
We love
Amen.
the query trenches.
No.
Oh gosh. I got like 350 words in that sprint. Not bad, not bad. I mostly the first like probably 10 minutes of that was me just staring at the wall and thinking. Like I was like, okay, how do we start this scene? But then once I actually got to going, the words were flowing. So I'm not mad about it. Do we quickly want to share a line before we log off for the day? I can start.
I printed out my chapter. I'm ready.
Ooh.
So I was describing the bar, and I wanted it to also, I mean, because it's a fantasy, I wanted everything to kind of have its like whimsical feeling and whatnot. So I'll just kind of like read the first little bits of what, like, just describing the bar. Melody's stands just on the outskirts of the market. It was originally a boathouse, similar to the one near the docks where I conduct my experiments, but the whole thing leans slightly to the right, the same way patrons look walking home in the wee hours of the morning. It's the place most islanders go after a long day's work, the chilled ale taking the bite from their sun-singed skin. I've never been a drinker, but I can see the appeal. While there's no real magic in Fracture, the combination of booze and music seems to act as an elixir, creating a false heaven for townsfolk to sing and dance in spite of their helplessness.
Okay.
Love the false heaven. You went off with that.
I guess I have another super out of context line. I guess. Okay. But when the pain did arrive, overcoming her senses, any pride, any strength she'd once clung to, any memory of who she thought herself to be was stripped away. So you get
That was poetry.
8.
sentence.
That was poetry. What's 4 plus 4? 8.
Poetry.
Amen.
Oh, I don't know. Girl.
That's so funny. This is a line from Dauntless. I'm scrapping most of the first half of the chapter. Honestly, I'm giving up on that. So this is from right after Aurora, Sleeping Beauty, is stabbed. Jor does some magic, and flowers start to grow around her girlfriend's possibly dead body. Even as flowers... It's Sleeping Beauty, I don't know. Even as flowers blossomed, the thorns grew up around Jor and Simone, threatening to pierce their skin. The thorns lengthened and sharpened, mirroring the spindly dagger that had punctured Aurora's armor. Simone took a step back, tripping over the vines and roots that wove themselves around the young woman. The thorns scraped at Simone's armor, the sound grating on Jor's ears even as she focused on her prayer. Cornice, Jor screamed now, her face turned up towards the dim blue sky, tears streaming down her cheeks. I know you hear me, these are your secret flowers. Heal my beloved, please mend what is broken, heal what is wounded. Anger was seeping into her voice, and she knew it wouldn't help, but she was hurting so badly.
Ooh.
Love.
Good.
Wow. All good lines. All good lines. Meredith, did you share a line already?
No, she is not.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I'm waiting for Meredith. We all know she's also going to ease.
All right, here's mine. This is from, I'm in like the Dark Night of the Soul. We're coming up to the grand gesture moment. So
Ooh.
there's not really like a third act breakup where they've actually like broken up, so to speak, but they're separated like geographically at the moment.
Hmm.
I'm about to write my reunion scene, Alyssa.
Ooh.
To
We
me.
love a reunion scene.
All right, so Henry is by himself and he's just being a sad boy. He longed for her brightness. He wanted to hold her so badly he was tempted to wrap his arms about himself just so they didn't feel so empty. He stood stock still in the foyer and put a hand to the wall to steady himself. The truth hit him hard enough that the edges of his vision blurred. He was desperately in love with his wife. There was no contesting it, and he had no ability to foolishly attempt to deny it. Henry loved Celia more fiercely than he realized himself to be capable of.
That's good.
Wrapped his arms around himself so that he could feel her hug. Are you kidding?
Oh my god. The yearning sad boy, I live.
I know, right?
He's definitely in love with his wife.
I can't even tell what you're saying.
I know. It's so Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow. Amen. Amen. That's all I can say. That was wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. Anna expanded her outline for the next couple chapters, so I guess I did my what's next on Glee. Amen. Book Bell got 995 words, almost 1,000. That's awesome. Added 5 chapters to the reverse outline.
5 chapters, dang.
I know, right? 967 words completed. It got 432, so at 1252 for the stream so far. And yes, actually, I am going to be live over on Natalie Jane Shields' channel. I think it's at 7 p.m. Central, because it starts at 8 p.m. here, and I'm in Orlando. So I guess, 7 p.m. Central. But it's over on her channel, Natalie Jane Shields. Just go check it out. It'll be me, her, and Taylor. We're going to be just vibing on stream later tonight. And I'm sure there are other ones, but if there are, I don't know about them. So chat, if you know of any other streams, feel free to drop them in the chat so that we can all get all the writing in today.
I'm not. One second, let me check the Storytellers Society calendar.
Yeah, if anyone would know,
I don't see any on the calendar, which doesn't mean they aren't there. But if you guys want to join the Storyteller, if I can promo the server real quick, if you want to join the Storyteller Society server, we have a calendar where we try to load all the streams onto. So if you want notifications for streams every half hour and 5 minutes before they start, DM me for a link and I can get you into the server.
Boom. There you go.
Boom.
Ask and you shall receive.
Literally. I'm here to help.
All right, and it looks like we have one line being shared in the chat, so we'll pull that up real quick. Magic School Project where the main character is about to get brought to the school. There was a Say No to Drugs poster full of brightly colored pills that had slowly started swirling in front of her. She blinked and rubbed at the hollow bags under her eyes before looking back and still seeing the same thing. Was this a hallucination? Was she finally losing her last thread of her sanity?
Ooh.
Love.
That's tea. That's tea.
I love that the Magic School has a Say No to Drugs poster. We don't think enough about drugs at Magic School. I'm just going to say it.
Right. I mean, they gotta be. But they're gonna be like cool drugs, because
they're going to be cool drugs. But you should still say no to cool drugs.
Yeah, you should say no to drugs, but like they'll be like cooler drugs than the ones that we have because it's magic and fiction.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyways, all that to say no to drugs. Anyways, what do you say we get off the internet? I think it's time. So really quick, we'll start with CK, work our way in a circle. Tell the people where they can find you on the internet. Plug anything you want to plug.
Okay, I'm CK Jensen. My handle is CK Jensen Author on pretty much any platform you can imagine. I'm most active on Instagram and YouTube right now. I have a couple books, which I'm going to grab because I wisely moved into unexplained. I have Witch's Blood, which is a sapphic romantasy. I have All Hail the Queen of Hearts, which is an Alice in Wonderland retelling. And 2 more, I'm sorry, there's so many. Then 2 poetry collections, Faith, Transition, and Being Gay, Eco-Poetry, and Climate Change. Also, I'm a book coach. If you want me to read your book and help critique it, I would love to do that for you. You can find that at my website, ckjensenauthor.com/BCC for Blue Caterpillar Consulting. Okay, Slay, I'm done. Alyssa, go ahead.
I'm on YouTube, Alyssa and the Books. Check me out. I do a lot of vlogs, too many, frankly. And
No,
Yeah, we
just
love
enough
them.
amount of vlogs.
I also
Never enough Alyssa vlogs.
check me out on Instagram. Alyssa writes books. I post nothing, but I am maybe going to. I don't know. And also, just if you're looking for extra reasons to subscribe, I coming up in November potentially. Seriously, we'll be doing 30 days of videos, so check that out if you want to.
It's like YouTube Christmas. We love this.
It really is.
It's the best part.
That's so exciting. I'm just Meredith Phillips Writes on YouTube and Instagram. I have nothing else. I do vlogs. Go watch them.
Yes, I love me a Meredith E. Phillips vlog. Meredith, you don't give yourself enough credit. You are so funny. Like there are many times where I am watching your videos where I literally laugh out loud, and I'm like, your comedic timing is like 10 out of 10.
Thank you.
Like you're so much funnier than you give yourself credit for. So yes, check out all of these lovely people's videos, their channels, their socials, their stories, their whatever they got out. Check it out. And I am the host. I am Cody the writer. I'm here on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram, and I'm going to be here until the end of the year, streaming every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So yeah. We're locked in, clocked in, and hopefully by the end of this year, we'll have a finished first draft of Project Purple. But you'll just have to stay along for the journey to find out if we make it there. But once again, thank you to all my wonderful guests for taking the time to hang out with me on the internet for over 2 hours now. I really appreciate all of you being here. Chat, if you were here, we are so happy that you were here because you have many ways you could have spent your Saturday, but you spent it here with us. And we're so grateful to all of you for writing with us today. With that said, you'll find us